Hey everybody, I thought I'd show you the solar powered system that I have set up for this refrigerator and other components. So as you've seen before in some of my other videos, this is a 12 volt or 24 volt refrigerator. It can operate on both voltages, and I currently have it protected as much as I can from the sun. And then over here, this is my battery system that I use with my refrigerator. Now I'm charging it up right now, so it's pulling about 57 watts of power. This is a distribution setup, so this is an Anderson power pole connector type of system. And back here in this black box is an MTTP Charge controller, which I can't really show you too much right now because it's covered to protect it from the rain. And then I have four 100 watt 12 volt batteries, or sorry, not batteries, but solar panels. You know what I mean here by that. And this whole system is running a 24 volt system for power, 24 volts. So I've got two 12 volt lead acid batteries right here that are hooked up in series. And as you can see right there, that thing hanging down, that is a circuit breaker. So if there's any overabundance of current, it'll shut off. Okay, and these panels, they are connected in series. So right now, theoretically, if you looked at the voltage at just 12 volts, you'd have 48, but it's right now I'm getting about 76 volts from them because they do pull more voltage. And depending on the load, the wattage that these panels delivers will vary. So that's based on the load and the charge controller. So right now I'm just charging maybe 50 watts for that battery down there, keeping the battery topped off over here, which is full. It's 100% right now. And then this refrigerator, which is probably pulling about 30 watts. Just depends, 30 to 50 watts, depending on what's going on with it. Over here is a Bluetooth connector right here for allowing that to be connected to a phone to manage it. And then as you can see over here, there's a lot of shade on this one panel, so it is cutting my voltage a little bit. That is an issue. These two panels are not receiving a lot, but it's keeping up with the demand that I have with no issue at all whatsoever. So an MPPT controller, what that does is it converts that 76 volts into amperage that the battery bank will use. So it'll convert that up to 24 volts, or I should say the amount of voltage, like 25 or 26, just depending on circumstance for charging. Over here I have a 24 volt fan, which is hooked up through this distribution block over here. So I bought my own cable. I tried to roll my own over here and that worked okay, but for the same amount of cost for the cable right here and the power pole connectors, I could just source my own. What you see here is 24 volts going in, distributing to this fan, which is right here, and works pretty well. That's an automotive type of fan system. I had to label it so people understand. Over here I have a 24 volt to 13.8 volt converter, which is just the output right here, and that's used to power this lamp. As you can see, that's working nicely. That's a 24 volt or a 12 volt bulb. It'll work either way. There's the bulb will last longer if it's in that 12 volt zone. So why is it 13.8 volts? I have some radio equipment that transmits better at 13.8 volts, so that's the purpose behind that. Okay, over here is a similar setup. This is a 8 to 40 volt converter that converts the output to 13.8 volts. Okay, and same thing, I've got a setup here to receive, or I can plug this directly into my source of power and distribute 13.8 volts over here using just this power pole connector and this distribution block. So everything now will be incoming whatever voltage. Let's say it was 12 volts, and output would be 13.8 at the cost, of course, of current. And if it's 40 volts, then it will convert it down efficiently to 13.8 volts with the availability and abundance of current. Never connect these two together at the same time with power going to this power bar here. That will be catastrophic for this, plus any fuses in line that go down throughout the electrical system. Over here is a cable that I made, just a standard 5.5 millimeter type of connector, and then Anderson power pole connectors, which are useful. I'm currently using that right now in here. On these connectors over here, I have the same type of connection, so I can output to that lamp that you saw, or I can input, as you're seeing here, with a nice short connection. So that's 24 volts going into this battery and providing a nice charge. So I like to work with the 24 volt system. The battery voltage at that voltage is allows for longer cable runs. I could go up to 48 volts, that would be even better, but that's a lot of batteries to hold. Those two batteries over there are 100 amp hours each, so I have 100 amp hours of 24 volt power available to me. Most of that probably would be about 50% of it, so think of that as 50 amp hours, because you don't want to run a lead acid battery all the way down. Otherwise you shorten the life dramatically. And those batteries are marine type batteries. They're deep discharge. I really like this fan when I'm outside. It certainly keeps me cool. Really outputs a lot of air. And over here I have USB outputs for charging things if I need to, that are like a phone, for example. But certainly can keep yourself cool at a campsite, or just during the middle of a power outage, or just whatever. So I've been running this system for quite some time now. I ran that refrigerator for at least a month before I used it on a camping trip. The cot right there is just kind of protecting it from the sun. That ridgeline cot is nice to lay on when you're outside, or at a campsite, or if you're doing a lot of late work and you have it in your office. I do like this refrigerator a lot. The only thing I can point out on that is that I do not like the fact that the lid is black. So I put some aluminum tape on there, and as you can see in here, it works nicely. It's got a lot of room. It is a deep dive downward to get to everything, which there's pros and cons to that. The pro is that it's a lot more efficient. The con is that it's it's harder to dig down and grab things. Over here on this side is a refrigerator area. This area is a lot cooler. That area here would be less cool. When I first started up this device, I set it at -10 degrees Celsius and put a bunch of blue ice in there. And I used the solar power over here to freeze a bunch of blue ice blocks, which then I brought upstairs to my room and my master bedroom in my house, and put all those blocks next to a fan and ran it at night just to see if it would cool the room. It doesn't work that well, but it's nice to sit in front of it, but it's not going to cool a room. But it was kind of a cool way of having solar powered air conditioning in a way. So anyways, this part here is probably my most favorite right now, because it's about 35 degrees outside, 35 Celsius, so that's quite warm. And this little feature here I really like as well, for converting down that 40 volts to 13.8. Like I said, great thing to have for radio equipment, for better transmissions, especially if you're dealing with data. And then with that, I'll leave you with my dog. Say hello. Sit. Good dog.